How was it again that I made these intros? I can't quite remember. Oh yeah. What is up, my little Danos? Vepsisi, your coach of the Helsinki Hydreigons, and we are here for my draft recap for the first proper Wi-Fi league that I'm able to now play throughout the season in itself, being Pokemon Premier League Season 2. Thank you for Jack and Ellie for giving me this opportunity to play this season and giving myself the proper chance to enjoy this generation in Wi-Fi scene, of course. And this is gonna be a draft recap. As you can tell, you can see entirety of my roster. I'm just gonna be giving my very brief thoughts on what's the idea and concept behind this team, what I'm trying to look after and try to accomplish with it, and just overall my thoughts on it for coming back into playing in Generation 9 as well. So expect it to be a very short video. That's what I'm aiming to do today. So going into this draft in itself, I got myself the 9th pick overall when it comes to draft position, and I had a one specific mod that I wanted to draft this season, and I deem it to be my target mainly because while it's a very new Pokemon and it's a Generation 9 mod, it was something that I never got to use before myself in other leagues, because some of the leagues that I played casually on Showdown, we end up banning it. So I never really had the proper opportunity to even try to pick it up in itself. And going to this season, seeing where I was in the draft position, I thought, you know what? Things like Walking Fire and some of the new toys in that regard are gonna be going before I have a chance to try them out myself in round 1. And I took the opportunity to say that, hey, this is a Generation 9 mod that I think is very good. I want to see what I can do with it this season, because on paper it looks very threatening. And that is of course Iron Valiant. Right on the left side corner was my first round pick, what I ended up doing. I love the fact that it's an offensive fighting and a fairy type by itself, because I think its dual stab matches up really well versus the high tier Pokemon that others end up drafting or did before me. So I like it's kind of like quote unquote anti-meta matchup, even though like it's Iron Valiant, it's part of the meta of course. But regards to like how it should face up against my opponents, I like its opportunity to shine this season. But the main thing of what I've been hearing and what I kind of knew going into drafting Iron Valiant is that you kind of have to make sure that you're not pigeonholing it to be a certain type of offensive threat on your team. You cannot rely on to be your fastest Pokemon in your draft. You need speed alongside it and priority. You want to make sure that you have enough mixed offense when it comes to like having a proper special breaker on your team, proper physical breaker options, and then potentially some sort of setup opportunities as well alongside with your other Pokemon. So it's not pigeonhole always to do a very specific thing, because I don't like it to be predictable. Iron Valiant's one of the best attributes, I believe, is that you can make it become very unpredictable week to week basis what opponents can expect it to do. So that's why I was really excited to try it out myself, because on paper I deem those qualities very valuable if you can get a draft properly around it and do it. And that's kind of like my main emphasis going to this. And then I also had the ideas of, and I had Addison giving me ideas as well, who is gonna be mainly the only person that really helps me building wise this season very heavily. I also have Montai, who we share a group chat in Discord that we kind of trade off ideas and mocks between each other, but Addison is gonna be the main person to help me this season. I won't be having a front office, and she mentioned that some sort of hazard stacking options, especially in getting spikes, this generation seemed to be something that I should be focused on getting, and that's where the Axis defense came into play. I knew that he got access to spikes. It's somewhat new Pokemon for me, so I was like, you know what, well, I might as well give it a go and see what it can do. And he got access to teleport that I was very obviously known for and liking to use it on Slowbro in Generation 8. So I'm like, you know what, it's not Slowbro, it's not Sean that I used to use back in the day, but maybe it will be able to do almost as good of a job at least than Slowbro was able to do in that regard. And then we have Iron Threats, which is a very reliable hazard control option with Rapid Spin Up, but also getting up access to Stealth Rocks alongside with the Axis defense. Ultimately, I was hoping to be able to get more hazards on the team, but being the fact that those two Pokemon at least are the ones that get access to hazards, I still find myself relatively good when it comes to hazard options to set them up. And then I obviously want to focus on the offense. I wanted to make sure that I have a good amount of speed, good amount of power, and different kind of ways to attack from physical side and the special side. I wanted to get Gengar, that is a very good bulky psychic and fairy type killer for Iron Valiant and be the proper special breaker, and also more that I think is somewhat underrated. I feel like Gengar is always underrated. Maybe it's overused word in some ways on Gengar, but I feel like a lot of cores out there that I saw being drafted, I noticed they can be pretty weak to Gengar, and I was like, you know what, even though it's round 4, let me give it a try. I always enjoy Gengar whenever very brief times that I get to draft it. This might be my 3rd or 4th time drafting it over the course of my career. So it's been a while that I have been able to use that thing. And then we got Hydreigons, Breloom for physical breakers. We got Noivern for speed and being one of my Terra captains. Terra captaincy will be based on that you get 1 stab typing and 2 extra typings alongside with it. We have a separate Terra tiers. And for my liking, when it comes to Terralizing, I prefer it to be banned entirely, if I'm being honest, but it's also really nice to see that it was at least somewhat like middle/lower tier Pokemons that can only Terralize it and make it a little bit more fun and unique to use certain things. So I was like, you know what, I may pick Noivern up, a mod that I'm very accustomed to using, but it's gonna feel nice and different, being having access to use Terra Flying as a stab. I can use Terra Fairy on it, I can use Terra Normal Boom Burst, and Terra Fairy giving me a flexible option to have another Fairy type besides Valiant that is very offensive and frail by itself. And then I have Hydreigons and Breloom for some sort of priority and a breaking and a setup opportunities. I have Rotom Wasp for pivoting, that can be very nice for my big threats to provide me more momentum that I thought was important to get. And then I have some decent bulk, but not the greatest bulk, of course, when it comes to like a Alolan that I thought as a bulky dark type was a very nice value to get. Because I thought it can have a decent matchup versus some of the big threats that were allowed to be drafted if I have to go up against them. And then I have Terra Red Sea Ice as a fun little pick with Terra Ice, Water and Steel respectively, giving me option to utilize it hopefully every now and then, and obviously get you guys excited to see Red Sea Ice doing maybe some work this season. And yeah, that's pretty much the draft. I think I was able to cover all of the Pokemon in itself without like going very detailed and like highlighting for them for a few minutes. So that's gonna be my draft recap in itself. Let me know comment section below how you feel about the draft in itself and how excited you are to see me back. I'm probably gonna be a little bit washed up, of course, early on in the season, but hopefully as I get back into the groove, I'm hopeful that I can make a playoff run attempt, and maybe by then I'm a little bit more catching up into things. I'm a little bit more closer to my prime. I don't expect myself to be at my prime like in Champions of Galaxy Season 2 or the UPPA before that. That was really prime me that you got to see back then. Hopefully I can get to somewhere similar levels, but more importantly I want to have a fun season. Maybe see that the old dog can learn some new tricks and be more offensive this season that you have come to see me in the past. And yeah, my week 1 opponent will be Necrostevo. Very excited to play him. I never got to play him before. So until then, thank you for watching, and I'm gonna be see you guys later.